Hi everybody, and welcome to another episode of Video iWoofs with your hosts, Dr. Ian Dunbar, Kelly Dunbar,
hello,
and me, Jamie Dunbar.
We should mix it up and switch places, throw it off.
And Kelly's computer.
And Kelly's computer.
What do we have, Kelly?
Okay, today we're going to take a couple questions from our SIRIUS students, or SIRIUS fans on Facebook.
You mean SIRIUS Puppy Training.
SIRIUS Puppy Training.
Not serious.
Our very
serious.
Serious.
Yeah, serious.
Anyway, our dog training company. These are just from students. Here's one. What is the most effective way to get a pup to stop chewing on leash while the leash is connected to the collar? So not just chewing on the leash when it's lying around, but when you have the dog on leash, you're trying to walk and they keep biting at the leash and pulling and trying to make it into a tug toy, I think.
Well, if we got more than one question, we should do this really quickly. I think first you need dialogue. You need to teach the puppy, take it, off, take it, thank you, off, take it, thank you, the same way. Lots of videos on Dogstar, how we do this with toys, so that the dog understands off or leave it. It doesn't matter which words you mean, but it means don't touch it if it's not in your mouth, or if it's in your mouth, spit it out. So we need a dialogue, and we need to practice this with toys first. So that would be point one. If the dog takes the leash now, stand still, tell him, hey, leave it. And then point two, with dogs which are really sort of, they like things in their mouth, like, you know, Goldens and Labs.
Bulldogs and pit bulls,
bulldogs and stuff. I just give them a walk toy. I mean, I had a terrible problem with my second Malamute, Phoenix, that you'd be walking along and all of a sudden she'd pounce in the bushes and she'd killed and eaten some cat poop, and it's all in her teeth and everything, you know.
Wow, she killed the cat poop?
It was so fast. There she is walking, and then, you know. And so what I did was I gave her a log to carry. It was called the walk log, and I say, Feeny, take it. And if she dropped the log, I'd say, let's go home. And so she walked with the log in her mouth and never ate cat poop again. So for your dog, have them walk with your tennis ball or your frisbee or your retrieval toy. And if it drops it, you say, okay, let's go home.
I also like to have. I like to have like a tug toy. This dog probably wants to play tug.
Yes,
I'm
absolutely.
Guessing. So yeah. I would train. You know, definitely do what you're saying, but then also bring a tug toy with and have little play interludes on the walk where they can do that. You know, so you have something appropriate with you when they do that. You can say, no, we're not going to do that. Sit or walk nicely for a few minutes, and then, okay, let's play.
Yeah, no, that's an exceptional point. That I think when people walk their dog, they usually go with just the leash, the collar, and the dog. They don't go with treats. They don't go with toys.
Poop bags.
Poop bags. And I think you need to take a toy on a walk, tug toy, or a chew toy stuffed with food.
Or a ball if your dog's
yeah,
small.
but the chew toy is really good because you can sit down, read the paper for 5 minutes, and the dog can watch the world go by. Very good socialization. And you need chew toys and other tug toys in the garden too. You don't just put your dog out in the garden and leave him there. You want to go out and be a part of your dog's walking experience, a gardening experience.
So if a dog's doing that, part of it is lack of training perhaps, but I think mostly it sounds like a lack of exercise.
Yeah, and he wants to do something, he wants to play, you know.
You know, maybe have a play session before walking. With the young dogs, I often do that. Tire them out a little bit.
Yeah.
Before you go on a walk.
Right.
So they're not just coming, if you've been gone all day, you come home at night and they're like, ah, I'm ready to go. And if you just put them on leash and expect kind of walking sedately by your side, you're probably not going to get that.
Yeah, and I think people forget that you have to train your dog to walk on leash, and it's actually quite complicated. Whereas they think the dog's going to come and immediately know how to walk on leash. So, you know, you want to go on a few training walks first. Don't try and go and post a letter, or else your dog will end up pulling or grabbing your leash. Instead, just walk 10 yards up the street that way, come back, walk past your house 10 yards down.
Very important point.
Yeah.
Puppies do not know how to walk on leash. And I remember the first time I took this little piglet dog out for a walk, and we didn't go far, but boy did it take a long time because he didn't know what we were doing. He'd never, you know, he was before vaccinations. He hadn't been out on our street. He was overstimulated and also confused. And
all right, well, we could probably talk forever about
Hugo forever.
About dog walking.
Yeah.
What's the second question, Kelly?
We do have another question.
Yeah, we
more
do.
than 2 questions, but we'll
we
take
do.
this one next. How to stop a herding dog from wanting to chase cars when you're out for a walk? I have her on leash, and as soon as she hears a car coming, she starts spinning and then wants to chase them as they pass.
This goes back, I mean, to advice I gave earlier. I think walking the dog is a complicated exercise, and it's hard enough training the dog to walk on leash when you're walking. let alone training the dog not to react to cats and cars and skateboards when you're walking. It's really complicated. So I would say first, go out with your dog, sit with the dog on leash, don't have the leash in your hand, tie it to something firm like a park bench, and the dog can watch the world go by, and then classically condition the dog. Every time a car goes by, pull out a treat. Every time a skateboard goes by, pull out a treat.
Or a toy.
A toy.
I think for a herding dog that's already amped up, a toy might be even
absolutely
better.
Toy. You're absolutely right.
Tug.
Yeah, absolutely right. And again, it's we don't then have to phase it out. If we're using food, we want to ultimately phase it out. But with the toy, we want that to be a part of the dog's life forever.
So you're actually training an incompatible behavior, really. I mean.
And you're rewarding the dog for sitting and looking at you when the car goes by playing with him with the toy.
So the sound of a car or a skateboard could become the cue to turn to you and ask for their tug toy and have a game.
Oh, absolutely. And this, I mean, like our street would be perfect. We live on a block which is, what, 9/10 of a mile round. We could invite 10 people round with cars, so we know every minute a car's going to come by because we've set it up. So we can ignore the dog when they're settling down, maybe gently praise them, but when the car comes, you say, hey, here's a car, sit, look at your toy, there's a good dog. And basically the problem is over in just one session. Now we have the skills where we can communicate to the dog, sit, look at me, when we're walking the dog and a car comes by.
You know, when I first got Oliver, he was somewhat reactive on leash to things outside, and we went and sat on street corners after we learned a sit stay and a down stay, and we did hand feeding on street corners that were going to be busy enough that they would trigger him.
I'm sorry, I'm just finding what you're saying so funny.
Why?
I was just thinking that after you learned 6 days, you went out with Ollie to sit on street. No, I'm sorry.
No, because
So,
you know, it was
no,
a
you're
similar thing.
right.
He was chasing, he would bark and lunge. Slightly, it was more reactivity than a chasing instinct, I guess. But at the train, the buses, and people going by, and I just thought, you live in the city, you have to get used to this. Let's sit in one place and get you used to this.
No,
So
it's too much. I mean, both these questions come together, whether the dog's biting on his leash or whether he's reacting to cars, or it could be kids on skateboarders or bicycles, that the most important exercise to do when you're walking your dog is to stop. Frequently, let the dog suss out and get used to the environment, and occasionally stop and let the dog settle down for 2 to 3 minutes. And let him chill, let him take in the environment, and then you can focus on one stimulus at a time and classically condition it. Whereas if you're walking, there's so many new stimuli coming in, you can't classically condition. You've got to let the dog get used to the environment first.
Yep. Sounds good to me.
Well, that was a quickie.
All
I
right.
don't know if it was, but okay. I think that's it. There's some advice.
Bye, folks.
Thanks for watching.